Is it?
Here we go.
Oh, that's how it does.
Hey, everybody. It took me a minute to convince Pop Pop to push us live, so here we are. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, the Busy Bard. Excited to get into conversation tonight. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Looks like we've already got Iron Eyes in the chat, so it takes a couple minutes for people to filter in, but yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm here with the Busy Bard. We met at Lit RPG Con. If I recall correctly, it was one of the famous gaming tables. Does that?
Think so?
Yeah, I think we played maybe Carcassonne together. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Lit RPG Con was such a blur.
Yeah.
Just a blur. Shout out to anybody that gamed during the con, though. You know, if you did, pop in the chat. Tell me what game you played and with who. Tonight we're going to be talking about Doomed and Damned, which is on Royal Road. You can go follow it right now. I really, really suggest you go follow the Busy Bard and Doomed and Damned on Royal Road. I just basically got caught up in what's been published so far, and it is a gift. So go follow it. How many chapters are up right now? I think it was 79.
79, and then I have like 88 on Patreon.
Yeah. Okay. So you're about 10 chapters ahead,
Mm-hmm.
further ahead than I am right now, which is awesome. And I know it's over 100,000 words. Do you have a word count right now?
Oh boy. On Royal Road, it's 234K.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
That sounds right. It's been a lot to get caught up. Like it's been a lot of reading to, you know.
You told me
Road.
You invited me to this, and you're like, "Yeah, I'll like catch up with your book." And then I think I dumped like 60,000 words since I talked to you. And I was like, "Here, let me make
here's
that
a whole
harder
extra book."
Like more difficult for you.
Yeah, it's a chunk, yeah, but it's good. I mean, it's been good the whole way, and I'm excited. I just put up my review on there, so that'll be good. If you are a Royal Road fan of any of your authors, make sure that you're doing reviews and ratings, because those totally make a difference in, you know, people picking up our books. But let's get into the backdrop here. The main character's name is Simon, and he starts off, he's an IT worker stuck in the basement of a hospital. And I am going to admit I have had that job. Shout out to my Reading Hospital folks in Pennsylvania. I worked in their basement for a while. There's a server reset that Simon needs to do monthly, or, you know, some sort of back-end reset button that he needs to hit. And he ends up getting isekai'd into an alternative world. He's offered the favor of the gods, with typical strings attached, and, you know, the fate of becoming a divine pawn. And for once in his life, Simon's not going to just go along with it. He has all this built-up irritation of delayed dreams, a dead-end job, and his untimely kind of isekaiing, that he decides to revel in being stubborn. And if I had one character trait that I would identify in Simon, it is his stubbornness. He is just flat out, stubborn.
That's his defining trait.
Mm-hmm. So I'd like to do these where I don't give too much away in the story. That was kind of the first chapter. But is there anything, the Busy Bard, that you'd like to add to that description of the opening?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, he's just dead dreams, and then constantly, you know, kind of like trying things, and then like, oh, but it's hard, and then it's like, oh, and then he just kind of like fades from one thing to the next, and like it's really easy. I just wanted to capture how it's like it's really easy to just kind of like go with the flow and let life just kind of pass you by.
Wake up 10 years later and you're still in that basement of the hospital. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like Iron Eyes literally works in the hospital basement. There's a lot of us hospital basement dwellers in Lit RPG. It looks like. Hey, Gary. Glad you joined us.
Someone's got to do it. So, you know.
Yeah. Somebody's got to hit that reset button once a month. So one of my first questions I always ask guests is, what should our fans call you? If we see you at a con, should we call you the Busy Bard, or is there another name that you'd prefer to go by?
Well, I'm gonna go by, I'm now like going to go under the pen name either Benjamin Webster or BJ Webster. We're still, I think BJ Webster rolls off the tongue, but being called BJ is like, I don't know, not really my.
Yeah,
That are those are my initials, but like, so Benjamin, Ben
Ben.
Webster. That's what I'm gonna go as.
Okay, all right. Do you mind if people call you the Busy Bard, or would you prefer
No,
Ben?
no,
Okay.
it's, I've been called Bard, Busy, bunch of other things. Just don't add an S and don't add a T, and you're fine.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Ben, thanks for joining. Looks like Gary is a above basement guy, so there's maybe just a lot of hospital folks in Lit RPG. So, all right, let's dive into our first questions. Um, the main character of Doomed and Damned is Simon. He's got a really unique class with unique characteristics. Um, I don't want to give too much away, but you basically take a class that's well known and beloved and just damage it. Just like
Like a lot
emotional
of
damage to this
a
class.
lot of the things in the book. That's my approach. It's like, hey, this thing. What if I just went?
Yeah, yeah, like 100%. And so what I guess what goes through your head? Why did you decide to flip a class on its head like this?
Well, I mean, I had, I, to be completely honest, like I just had this mental image of like I mean, I can spoil it a little bit, I think, but
Yeah,
it's just because I think it's more of the hook to the story, and like you can kind of get it from the
the cover.
cover.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like I basically took the bard class and then just didn't have him play instruments and didn't have him use bardic abilities and didn't have him do anything. Instead, he just uses instruments as weapons of mass destruction through bludgeoning.
Hmm.
So I just had this mental image of this. I like it was like 2 years ago. I was like, it'd be funny if there was a bard who just like hit people with guitars, and then the whole story kind of grew off of that concept. I was like, well, if I have that, I'm gonna have to have a good reason to why somebody's running around hitting things with a guitar. And then I was like, well, if I have that, then I need to make a world that's built around it. So it basically all, you know, grew off of that one thought and then just kind of spiraled out into the 90 or going to be like 100 plus chapters that it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's just like blunt damage with various musical instruments, including kazoos and cymbals and drums and guitars. And I mean, there's a lot of instruments that make a brief show.
Yeah, I think my favorite was at one point it's the little they're from India. They're these little tiny like hand drums. And like that was one of the best what do you call it? Like uh, okay, I may or may not roll on a table. I may or may not set up a scene and then roll on a table because the skill randomly summons instruments and then I may adjust.
Yeah.
Um, but funny story
Do you,
with that is I had a couple of authors like I said, hey, pick a number 1 through 100, and then I was like, thanks. And then I actually Haylock was in one of the sprint channels, and the number he picked made a didgeridoo, and I was like, oh man, this has to go in the book now. So
yeah. Yeah. So when you get the same instrument pops for the character, does that mean he just rolled the same number twice, like in a
yeah,
row? Or yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
made it easier to like write his frustration
Yeah,
because it's like it's actually me being frustrated where I had this really cool scene in my head and then I'll like roll a kazoo and I was like, are you kidding? Why is this on the table?
how does he defeat this beast with? Yeah,
This the mini
yeah.
symbols. Oh my god, I hate them.
So Gary wants to know if it's on Audible, and it's not yet, Gary. But is there plans to put it on Audible?
There are. I'm currently talking with a narrator. We're looking at a July release, hypothetically. So, but
Okay.
it looks like we're going to do production in March, assuming I finish the freaking book.
Yeah.
Um, because it feels like it never ends right now.
Yeah. Okay. When you do the Audible release, are you going to include sound effects of some of these instruments?
I don't know. That is a great question. I would love to. I've got to talk with the narrator about it and
Hmm.
see. I feel like I'm gonna may have to add that in as like, hey,
Yeah.
I need you to go buy these instruments and start whacking things with them
There's
and
got to be a
record.
soundboard somewhere that, yeah, includes
Yeah,
a didgeridoo. Yeah.
yeah. But I really want to hear it being like swung through the air by like a bodybuilder because I just feel like that would be very satisfying.
Yeah. 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 It would not be so much like the instrument sound. It would be more like twang as the strings break,
Yeah.
or the thunk as the guitar shatters. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, might be good. Gary, can you just imagine on like your morning, you know, listen on your way to work, and all you've got is instrument bashing sounds at the stoplight.
People look over and like, what are you listening to? It's like, don't worry about it. It's lit
Yeah,
RPG.
don't mind me. Well, you've got a unique take on a character being cursed in the world. And personally, I haven't seen too many main characters with such an active build and pairing curse. A lot of times curses are like, oh, you can't hold a sword, or it's something that's like a one, and they adjust and they move on. But this is all encompassing. Their curse is their class. Talk to me about the thought process around curses in this world.
Um, I mean, so with the curses and everything, when I was going to set up this story, there was something that I hadn't seen in a lot of stories was like you have underdogs, but they very quickly like get out of being the underdog status, or it's very quickly. And so I really wanted to set it up so that Simon was an underdog, like through and through. And so like when I was designing the curses, I was like, well, just how screwed could I make somebody to still be within the limits of like what's fair? Even though a lot of my commenters are like, this is bullshit. So
Yeah. Yeah, from a stumbling up perspective, I get that too. I mean, we get a lot of just stories where the main character starts out maybe, basement dweller, and then like snap of fingers is godlike and just stomps through everything. And so I mean, this is one of the things I really enjoyed about the story, is that he struggles. And it's just kind of a constant like, oh crap. There's this joke about how anytime somebody wishes like is like, oh, this is going well, it's just like doom, like impending doom sounds. Yeah.
yeah, I've always felt there's like one or two comments where I always want to reply. It's like, did you read the title? It says doomed and damned, not
Mm,
sunshine and rainbows. But
yeah.
I
Yeah.
have not commented.
All right. Well, your opening scene on the story is pretty impactful. It there's a it's very reminiscent of like what is it, like I want to say it's a Send Online Travis Bagwell's, where he starts off with this like necromancer scene, and then the book works up to that scene. You kind of do the same thing. You have this scene where Simon arrives at the gates of this city, and he is monstrous looking, made it through hell and back. Um, and I know when you and I talked, when I first picked up the book on Royal Road, you're like, hold on a second. I've got like a rewrite of the beginning. Just give me a day or two, and I'll post it. I guess I want to know, what was your what was your first version versus your current version, and what went through your mind as you did the revisions that you did to the beginning? Because right now it pops, and yeah, no complaints, no notes.
Yeah. So I started this because so I didn't realize what Royal Road had turned into. So Royal Road for me was always where I went to go read Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, and then I had this calculus class that was just awful. And then I was like, man, I really want to read something that like a comfy read, like something I've read before. I just wanted to read about weed on Royal Road, doing weed things. And for people who haven't read Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, that's the main character's name is Weed, and he's as stubborn as a weed.
Well, I mean,
Um,
this could be a different sort of story.
yeah, it could. um, But like then I went on there and I couldn't find it, and then I was like, okay, well, where is it? I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I saw a thing that said write-a-thon, and I was like, hey, it's November. I used to do NaNoWriMo. I've had this like bard character kicking around. And so I was just like, I hadn't slept for like 2 days. And so then I was like, time to write a book. And so I just wrote the first 4 chapters in like 18 hours. And I was just like, bleh. And yeah. So then it sat there and I like did it. I was like, I'm going to come back and finish the write-a-thon. I did not come back and finish the write-a-thon. I literally left the book alone for 2 months or something. And then somebody sent me a message and was like, hey, this is a cool start. Where's chapter 5? And then I like went and looked at it and I was like, wait, I have 100 views. I was like, wait, people read things on this website? I was just like, cool.
Like,
and I was
what?
like,
There's an audience here?
yeah. And then I just started posting chapters. I had no backlog until last month. And I just started posting chapters. I was just like, hey, we'll just continue this story. And then I was like, I went and plotted out like 11 arcs of the story of like, this is where it would go. And these first 3 arcs would be in the first book. And then like, I'm going to finish the first arc of those 11 I plotted. This book will be one. And so then I just kept writing. But those first 4 chapters were just, what I did when I was sleep deprived. And then I got to chapter 21 and I was getting some success. I think I just hit like 80, 90 followers. And I was like, hey, I'm like doing the thing. And I got to chapter 21 and I wrote it. And then I looked at it and I was like, damn, this would make a great first prologue. And then I like, at that point I had started to join some of the writing community. And then I was like, hey, what if I just like inserted the chapter as the prologue? And everyone was like, no, don't do that. Like, that's really no. And I was like, I'll just have the chapter repeat. Uh, so my chapter 21 and my prologue will be the same thing. And then, yeah, I did that. And then like, the next, in like a day or so, my views like tripled. And I was like, wait, what? And then I hit rising stars and then I went manic. And it was stressed out. So it was just, yeah, that's kind of like where the book was and then what it became. Once I got into like the, not the main rising stars, but the genre rising stars, I was like, oh shit, I need to like look up how to write a book on Royal Road. So, and I've just kind of been figuring it out ever since. I mean, I've written before, but nothing like a serial.
Yeah. It's it's a unique experience, right? Because you can get away with a lot of like that's one of the things I love about Royal Road is that you can get away with a lot of playing around. You can change the book after you've put it out there. You can add a prologue in. You can repeat a chapter. You can edit it. You can gaslight your readers into thinking the story was one
I
way
love
because they read it.
gaslighting my readers.
Yeah. What do you mean he had blue eyes? They've been red the whole time, and yeah, it's
Never done
wild.
that.
Yeah, it's wild. But what's nice about it is that you have this environment that's very flexible and creative, and you get a lot of new ideas. Your main character is, I mean, you got a really great story here. But Royal Road, I think, is a unique format in that it's given you the opportunity to just get it out there and get it out there in this like
Yeah.
piecemeal way. If you had to write 250,000 words before a single person read it,
No way. Like, there's
yeah,
no way. Like, it's been like a. I mean, okay, I really don't want to be on Rising Stars again, to be honest. Like, I actually kind of went manic, and like, some people in my life were like, excuse me, Bard, you are, there. I'm like, I don't remember that entire week or like 2 weeks. It was just like a little nuts, but like, I don't know that there's something about just getting like your first like fan on there and getting like even it seems kind of silly, but like people coming in and saying thanks for the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that first comment is just, and like even with putting in the first four, chapters, it's like just getting the message like, hey, where's chapter 5? And
Yeah.
it can be really motivating. Like, because there's a lot of readers on Royal Road. And I feel like, you'll find someone who likes your work, or someone who's going to say something about your work, or, you know, I mean, you definitely find there are some very toxic people too. There are some really toxic people on there. So,
Yeah. Just like any crowdsourced sort of open to everybody space, you get some real trolls. But there's also a really like lovely community of readers that are really I don't know. I live for those. Thank you for the chapter. What's going to happen next? Or wow, Richard's a dick. Whatever the comment is.
yeah. Oh, I cracked up this morning. I think so. What will happen a lot when you post is that you'll get a lot of like read laters, and what a lot of people will do is they'll wait till you build up chapters and get up to like end of book 1, and then they'll binge read. And like I've totally done it too. It's like I'll read like the prologue in the first chapter or something, and I'll be like, okay, I want to come back to that, but I really don't want to wait. And it's funny because I'm starting to get a bunch of those people now. And I had a comment this morning that just made me crack up because there was someone who was like, "The shit ass taco, damn it!" You're like, "Why? How are you cliffhanging at chapter 79?" I was like, "Sorry."
that's
like,
kind of the gig. I mean, in
yeah,
Serial, you try to cliffhang to keep people hooked. But yeah, that's fun.
but yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely there are definitely like strategies, and there's ways to set yourself up for success. And I didn't do any of them for
Mm-hmm.
the most part. And I wouldn't, going back and like looking back at it, I would do it the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say I was maybe a little bit more red on the strategy of Royal Road when I went live on it, but I broke a lot of rules too. I didn't have so Iron Eyes makes this comment that this actually makes my goal of posting on Royal Road a lot less intimidating. I thought I basically needed to have a whole book on deck before I started posting, and
It helps.
it helps, but you don't have to. I mean, I did not. And you didn't. A lot of people haven't. Tommy hasn't. So but you do need a posting schedule that you can keep up with it without stressing yourself out. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a book on deck, the thing that gets a lot of Royal Road authors is, they're like, I'm going to post a chapter a day. And then
Mm-hmm.
after a month, they're burnt out and, hang up the keyboard because they just can't keep up with it.
Yeah. I felt like a failure when I went to 3 chapters a week, only 6,000 words. And I actually am in like a writers group here locally at my town. And I've come to realize that like some of those expectations are kind of artificially created by lit RPG authors, and
Mm-hmm.
the genre in general creates this expectation of output that is not in tune with other genres.
Yeah.
So,
And not really that healthy potentially for authors. And
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but we do have like voracious readers, so it is hard because when you slow down, you get the, you know, where's the next challenge? I was it's always it's hilarious because Jay Krause will send me like a review about like where's the next book, and I mean he's producing them about as fast as you can produce a book without it being
It's in
AI.
like every 2 months or something.
Yeah, I think it's like 45 days is his cycle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Somebody scared me. I had one of my patrons go, you know what would be cool if for Christmas you put out book 2? And I was like, ah, that is the most
No,
terrifying Discord message I've ever seen.
no, we're human. No,
I did
no,
the math. It's like 19,000 words a day nonstop from the beginning of December to Christmas.
no.
Yeah, I don't know
No,
about
don't
that.
do it. Don't. You can't give in because then that just becomes all consuming.
Yeah.
Gotta live life. Sunshine is good. All right. So Tuesdays are objectively the worst day of the week, and here we are sitting on a Tuesday doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought that was
w-
funny.
I thought it was funny too. To be fair, I set the date before I'd read
I
opening
know.
opening chapters. But yeah, so why do you hate Tuesdays?
Okay, so some of the stuff from the beginning of the story is also the reason. So it's like, you know, everyone's got like, oh, the case of the Mondays, but like, I really do think that you wake up on Tuesday and you go, oh God, I have the whole work week ready. And it's like, you go to work, you have a shitty day on Monday, you go to bed, you wake up and you're like, shit, I have to do it again. And then it's like, you're not halfway through the week. And then, you know, it's just kind of like, I don't know, like that's kind of my mentality on it is I've had unfortunate things happen on Tuesday, but also I just like I I kind of came up with it, and then I was just like, I really like this, and I was like, I just think it would be like an interesting quirk for Simon to have as a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah, I like it too. I agree though. Tuesdays are pretty bad because you like accomplish Monday, but then you still have like all week to go. Like there's no hope on a
yeah,
Tuesday.
and Wednesday it's like you're halfway there.
Yeah,
Thursday it's just like Friday is tomorrow, so it's like you're
yeah,
basically there, and then Friday like that's the party day. So
yeah, yeah. Tuesdays are bad.
yeah,
Well,
Tuesdays are bad.
we're gonna take some viewer questions. I've got a first one locked and loaded from Corey. He wants to know, I can't wait for this arc to conclude so we can get on to Audible. I agree with the sound effects on Audible. Do you know how long it will be until the end of this arc? So how many chapters are you thinking in this first arc?
You mean the first book?
Hmm.
Where I'm at now with the story. I am going to conservatively say 10 chapters, but I also said that at chapter 70. So, but like I have um this, I have it all the notes. I'm not going to turn these around. I mean,
So those are the notes that are left or the notes that
yeah,
you've
this one
already
is this.
accomplished?
Hold on. This is it's just 3 pages. These 3 pages
Okay.
are what's left of the book. So,
Okay.
hypothetically, this is it. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it
just
doesn't
flash
matter.
that really slow in front of the camera
I,
for Corey.
I mean,
There
it
you go,
doesn't
Corey.
matter if I can show you in detail, and it doesn't matter because that's my handwriting.
So when we get to the are you a plotter or a pantser, we're gonna have to talk a little bit more detail about how you plot. Uh, so yeah. So Iron Eyes says, okay, I feel like for myself as an aspiring writer, if I want to actually do this, I absolutely should not compare myself to authors that are already established. And I 100% agree with that.
No, because I think that I feel like comparing yourself, first off, comparison just leaves you depressed, because there's going to be someone is going to be better than you. It's just that they're going to
Yeah.
be better than you at characters, world building, story output. Like they're going you're there's just going to be someone better than you for the most part. And then on top of that, I feel like even me, like talking with some people, like this is my first book that I have out there, and people have said, wow, it's such a great first book. That's not true. It's not my first book because I have like 10 or so, like I think it's 11. I think my count is 11. I have 11 50,000 to 90,000 stories that are locked away on my hard drives that will may or may not see the light of day. um and so every time you see like an author and their series, I feel like there's a lot of hidden things in the background that you just don't see.
Yeah.
And so it's even when you're comparing to them, it's like, oh, this is my first story, and they've written, 45 million words on the side that you just have never seen. So,
Yeah. I think I think that's really true. I mean, we talk about Jay Krause and his word count, and last month I talked to Rose, and she just casually dropped that during her like big heyday, she was writing 2 million words a year, and it was like, there's just always a bigger fish, and the reality is the process and the growth and the progression that is your journey is the most important journey to you. Who cares what other people are doing? you know Comparison is the thief of joy, right?
yeah. And I
Yeah.
and I honestly think that like the sooner you start writing is the sooner you'll get better. Like I have like like you said, I went back and edited the first 4 chapters. My writing has gotten better since the beginning of the book to the end of the book. I've got an editor going through the book right now, and it's the amount of edits are much higher. I'm at like 430 comments so far, and it's on the first part of the book, and it's like just in that. And so like I watch a lot of Seth Ring's stuff that he puts out on YouTube, and like I really agree. It's just like the way to get into it is just, you know, you write good books faster, and that's the way to get better, and that's the way to catch up, or you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Like maybe that sounds too simple, but it really is, you know, read a lot, write a lot, and write good books faster.
Yeah, I think definitely your second book is going to be better than your first book, and your 10th book is going to be better than your second book. So get to it, right? And I think we spend as writers a lot of time just, is it worthy? Am I worth it? Is this any good? And it's like, it doesn't matter, because you're just going to get better as long as you keep writing, right? Yeah. So, all right, keep questions coming. Alicia says, I agree with hating Tuesdays. Yeah, absolutely. And Laurel, Jay's some kind of writing, word creating machine. Never compare yourself to his output. I agree. Yeah. But I mean, there's like Pirate ABBA puts Jay to shame. Easy. Yeah. And it just doesn't matter. You just can't. The word count.
And it
comparison
comes
is just
like,
not a thing.
Because like when I was, so I'm dyslexic, and so it's really hard for me to like type. And so it would get discouraging that I would like cap out at X words per minute, right? And then it's just like, as the book went on, I got faster and I got faster. And then I started, I think like chapter 40, I was watching Seth Ring again on his talking about dictation. And then I tried it and I wrote like, I tried it. It was clunky. It was clunky. It was clunky. And then I had a 20-minute commute where I spoke like 7,500 words into existence, and like 6,400 of them made it into the book. And I was just like, oh, so like even when it comes to like the word output, there's always ways to like go faster that you just learn from experience, and you learn from, you know, the practice of just writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know you and I talked about dictation as a method of writing, and you were like, my first 20 hours of doing it was like trash.
It was right? So bad. It was so bad. And then it was really funny. I had a realization like 2 months, like a month or two ago. Like I was like, I'm using this transcription software, and I was like, man, it's just not getting the words. Stupid AI. It's stealing everything from us, and it can't even transcribe my words. And then I listened back. I hadn't listened back to any of the like 30, 40 hours of recordings. So I do it in my car on my commute. I realized it wasn't using my car's mic. It was using my phone. And I throw my phone into the passenger seat and it'll like bounce to the floor. And so I'm just like, yeah, that's about it. And then Simon swung the guitar. And it was and the fact that it got any tangible, legible, like any form of anything out of that is insane.
It's like your backseat trunk recording.
Yeah.
It's literally like a hostage in your trunk is trying to understand what your story is about. I love it.
Yeah, and I was, because I got mad because I was like, man, it's only got like 70% of my words. I know I said more things. And then I went back to listen to it. I was like, oh, that's why. Whoops.
That's amazing. I love that story. Mind if I share it with people?
Yeah, go for it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. All right. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to catch up here. Yeah. So don't compare yourself to Jay. Iron Eyes says that patting himself on the back for starting again at 26, but that's a whole nother story. We're going to have to someday at con, we're going to have that lobby discussion. Rachel says, Tuesdays are the worst. I love the destruction of the musical instruments. It made me happy. Simon's journey is about not being a perfectionist, but enjoying the journey. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun describing he gets forced to use instruments, and he's not good at it. He hears sound as background noise. It's like that white noise you listen to go to sleep. That's like all music to him. And so him actually playing instruments it's just more white noise. So it was a lot of fun just describing like the piles of shattered instruments and like the piano chords. I really liked like describing how like the piano chords like snuck through and snaked through the debris like earthworms or vines. I don't know. Like I wrote that, I was like, I really enjoyed this description.
Yeah. Were you tortured as a child? Did some parent try to make you learn how to play piano? And
Yeah, I did learn piano, and I did have at least I had some good teachers. And then there was one teacher who was just like, "You just have to do this," and it's like, "I don't want to do that song." It's like, "Well, you have to do this song," and I was like, "But I want to do the other song that's more upbeat." And I was really into like electronic music, so I was trying to
yeah,
be like, dun, 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 dun. But no, I had to do the whatever that song is
yeah, for Elise, yeah, yeah,
released. Yeah. Oh my god. I should have made
yeah.
that,
That may or may not have been a recital song for me. I get that. Yeah.
I feel
You,
like a lot of people have had that experience with
mhm.
like an instrument shoved on them, and like, like being one, and then it's like there's always like the way we talked about, there's always someone better than you. They're like, you put hours and hours and hours into this, and then that kid with the glasses walks up and just like blows everyone out of the water, and they always go first, they never go last. They're always are the because they're the teacher's favorite. They go first in the recital. I don't understand why they do this. Why do we put the good kids first? Let the kids who suck at it go first. But
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. Well, it comes across. I mean, it comes across in the story that you have some understanding of music, and possibly hated it, gaining that understanding. So,
yeah,
yeah. Iron Ice is saying that we downplay how bad Sundays can be too. That it's too close to Mondays to be comfortable. And I agree. That dread of Monday sneaks into your Sunday and kind of spoils it.
yeah, that's the alternate version.
Yeah. Or
Simone.
yeah. Laurel is saying that they love old school verbal storytelling. So the fact that you dictate makes sense to them. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go hop into a few more of my questions, but if you've got more questions for Ben, just go ahead and plop them in there and we'll get them as we go. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about process. Um, we hopped into talking about Royal Road, but didn't really explain what Royal Road is. And I know some of our viewers here have never been on that application. What to you, Ben, what is Royal Road to you?
It's man, that's a great question. It's almost as if you sent me these questions and I should have had them. Uh,
I will say you're not the first person that I sent questions to that, maybe bypassed
I
those
swear that's a
messages.
trend or something. But no, for me, it like I said, like my experience with Royal Road was it was a translation website for Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, and then and then I remember the forums started getting stories, and so I always have seen it as a place to like read stories. It was more of a fan site for me, of my understanding, but getting into it, it's just like a launch pad.
Yeah.
Um, so it's very much a lot of the stories on there are very like people who are their first time writing, or people who just have a concept and they throw it out there, and it's a lot of lit RPG, and trends kind of come in waves where like this month it'll be X thing and this month it'll be Y thing. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I think like on the website officially it's like a free serial platform for writers to share content. Which it's true, but it's like that's just like a dip in the water. It's like putting your toe in the water, right? I mean, there's cool communities on there. We just had one of the communities blow up, which maybe we'll
oh yeah,
sidestep that conversation, but
maybe
like
we'll set that conversation.
yeah, but yeah, uh it's definitely for me as a writer on Royal Road, it was a way to gain a fan base that I would never have, accessed. And as a writer, it is really motivating to get comments as I post. Like there's people that are reading along with me and I'm about to hit chapter 100. So it's really motivating as somebody who's sometimes struggles to sit down at a keyboard to think like, wow, if I don't like figure my stuff out, I'm not going to have something to post for,
Yeah, it can really be like a writer's accountability partner. But instead it's a bunch of people who are like, hey, where's my chapter?
Yeah.
And I also think I think if I had to like describe it in like a very short way, it's like Royal Road is possibility. It's like you can go from no one knows you to you actually have like an audience, you actually have fans. And I think that's one of the biggest things with it is that like anyone can hit rising stars. I really do believe that.
Yeah. I think I think one of the things that people don't understand too is that a lot of the lit RPG indie publishing houses use Royal Road as a proving ground, to Pop's point. So if you hit Rising Star, or if you hit, so many followers for your story or fans or whatever, that can grease the wheels to get a deal with a publisher if that's the way you want to go. Not everybody on Royal Road's looking for that. Most people aren't, but it is a way to publishing that is not necessarily openly advertised. So we've got a couple comments. I asked the crowd what they think Royal Road is or what their experiences are. Pop says it's a proving ground and that we're wrong.
I think the none of that, I saw that pop in when we mentioned the drama, and so we're gonna sidestep.
Yeah. Laurel, we'll get to Laurel's comment in a second, question in a second. Rachel says that they are really enjoying the variety in the stories that they read. The Sovereign's Toll has been great. So happy that it gives so much to the readers and the authors. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. The variety is wild. You can find any flavor of anything you're looking for if you just look hard enough.
Yeah.
Also, that allows a lot of creativity, and I think that's true. You can put something on Royal Road that no publisher would touch with 100-foot stick.
Oh man,
may or may not go right.
There's one, shoot, what was it? I feel like there is just so many, like they're fun, but they're crazy. I think there's one that's like reborn as a cruise ship that hit rising stars. I have that saved to read later because I looked at the concept and I was like, what? But I was just like, I want to read this, but like I can't see a traditional publisher like you walk in and they're like, okay, so here's the story.
Yeah.
You show up in another world and you are now a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Let me cook. But it's like it's on my list to read. It's like that sounds super interesting. I want to know how the author used that concept.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There is such a wide variety. I mean, like I'm drawing a blank right now. I generally read a couple Royal Road authors at a time. I had like a plant dungeon one. It's all about this guy with plant powers, and I don't know. It was like, how many plant dungeons are you gonna read?
I think the whole website is somebody read a bunch of books and then they were like, you know what? I haven't seen and I want to see this. And then you can make an account, make a story, thunk, 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 thunk. And then now we have a cruise ship.
Yeah. The writing quality can really vary on here. I'm not gonna lie. There's sometimes you get it's an interesting concept and the writing is just like meh, but surprisingly, I would say 70-80% of the books that I click on, the writing quality is decent, which is
because you have to get over that initial kind of like that apprehension of like just dropping a chapter. And like even when I was doing like early chapters, it was like I was super nervous to put the next chapter. Right.
Yeah. Iron Eyes is saying Royal Road is probably the only platform where I don't mind if a story is unfinished. Maybe that's a low expectations thing. I mean, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
There's a couple in there that I'm trying to think of. There's one that's not finished, and I don't know what happened. I think the author just like got too many like negative comments or things happened, and they never finished it. And I was always like, man, I really want you to finish this story. Yeah. And that's sometimes sad to like start getting through a story, and then it's just like, oh man, it's not done, and
Yeah.
they went on hiatus. I am sad.
Yeah, I would just say that if you run across a story like that, feel free to drop the author an encouraging note.
Yeah,
You know,
for
you
sure.
never know when they come back on chapter 4 and they see a note that says, "Hey, where's chapter 5?" and then they write 200,000 more words.
I mean, that's what happened with me.
Yeah. Laurel says, "I love Royal Road. I love that what Royal Road is for the authors, but I find it overwhelming as a reader." And yeah, there is a lot on there, and sometimes it's hard to find the stuff, or you make the mistake of like trying to read 20 books at once, one chapter at a time. Hey, look, Pop found some buttons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at that.
yeah, look at that. Okay, so we've got a question. Any strong feelings about any of the different publishing routes, trad versus hybrid versus self-publishing? It sounds like you're going the self-publishing route. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
yeah, I'm going self-publishing. It there's a lot of, I don't know, it's just the whole traditional publishing route is just pretty daunting, and then it's like there's just a lot with it where it's just like you prepare it, you edit it, you find an agent, you do this, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's so much for me. Like I can't see myself doing it. And then also it's like I don't know, I kind of really like the idea of just being in control. It's like win or lose, it's I it's because of me. It's my hand is on the scale. And that could end up being not the right choice, but it's I mean, I've worked with contractors and other people before, so it's like I'm pretty used to like delegating out things that I don't know. Like I'm not going to narrate my own story. No.
We're not going to get the floor car conversation.
Yeah. And so I guess, yeah, I've talked with a bunch of different people, and I will say that like the reason for me personally, the reason why I'm doing self-publishing is because when I was like, I hit Rising Stars and then my whole life blew up, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I started looking up resources, and then I saw this, and then I saw on a Facebook post, they're like Lit RPG Con. And I was like, I should probably go to that. This is kind of like, I should go to that. And so I went and I looked, I saw I could get tickets, and I went and looked at flights. It's like $80 round trip or 110 or something.
That is
And
the nice
then,
thing about it being in Denver. Yeah.
yeah. And then I was like, am I going to go to this? And then I was just like, I can get the time off. I'm going to go. Yeah. And then I went to that. And some of the connections and the people that I've gotten, that whole experience has kind of like changed the game for me, because it's like, it's one thing to talk about like, oh, I'm going to do self-publishing or try and figure that out. It's another thing when you have a bunch of authors who are self-published and very successful go like, hey, add me here, let me move you into this channel, message me anytime about any question, and I'll tell you what I did.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like, that's why I'm going that route. So also, if you are serious about lit RPG and you want to be a writer, go to lit RPG con.
Yeah.
It was the most valuable experience of like my life.
Do it. It's worth it. Yeah.
You get to have like beers with people. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I like was sitting on a couch, and I was like, huh, this is like 3 of my favorite series authors like on the couch.
Sitting on the couch together. Yeah.
Sitting on the couch, and we're all drinking beer and their mixed drinks and stuff. And then I was like, and then I like went into the bathroom. I was like, I was just like, be
Yeah.
cool, be normal. Don't say
you can do this.
don't walk up to some author and then look them in the face, and the first thing you say is, my wife hates your book. That was my introduction to Haylock. I walked up and I was like, oh yeah, I like your book. And he's like, oh thanks. And I'm like, my wife hates them. And he was like, okay. And I was like, okay, goodbye. And I was
like, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, go to Lit RPG Con. Author or reader, it's kind of an incredible. I mean, I've been to a couple cons, and it's definitely the most intimate con experience. Yeah, memorable is a great word. Very memorable. Um, Especially if you tell Halak that your wife hates his books. So,
I went up later. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I got off the plane and like went into high altitude and then like went straight because it had already started. And then like he was one of the first authors that I've like read his whole series that I bumped into. So it was just like, I don't know. I'm never living that down. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to burn. It's burned in my head.
Yeah. I would also suggest everybody sign up for the game tables. That was wild. My first game table, I sat down and played Cards Against Humanity with Aileron, a couple strangers, and it was like, okay, yeah. Well, that was Aileron. Didn't know you could be competitive at Cards Against Humanity, but we managed. It was fun. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's where you and I met. But also, I was in the lobby a lot, and I think you were too.
No, I actually remember where we met.
Do you?
It was at the water fountain. It like that one that moves really slowly in the Hyatt. It's like you sit there for like 7 minutes to fill one cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Okay.
I've seen you around, and then I was like, you're the one with the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 That's fair. It is wild. I still, yeah. I mean, I have met some of my best friends this year. We're sitting on a couch in the middle of the lobby, just like leaned over. We're at the water fountain. I'll take it.
I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
once again it was a blur. There
Yeah.
was alcohol involved. There was a fire. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just remember us talking about Royal Road, and we had this whole conversation about like the community to get involved in and swapping shout outs. And yeah, you're very friendly. So you didn't tell me that your wife hates my book, so put you in the friend column.
No, she actually likes what is it, the potions
Potions and perils. Yeah.
potions and perils. Yeah, it's sitting on our what do you call it, nightstand table. So
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I'll take it.
yeah.
Pop Up says that Geneva put him, me, and Aileron together, and Jez was supposed to be there. So that would have been wild if yeah, that it was fun. Okay. Looking at my questions, you've kind of answered it, but are you a pantser or a plotter? What's your preferred mode of operating?
Pantser, but I do.
I was gonna say you have notes
Um,
though.
yeah, I do. I do like. I had this one English teacher, Mrs. French. She was amazing. She, I don't know where she
Mrs.
got this.
French was an English teacher.
Yeah, she had this like diagram where it's basically like an umbrella, and you make one big circle at the top, and you write Act One, and then you make circles, like or like dome, 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 and then you write C or like arc one, arc two, arc three, and then you put like a word or two couple of words of like what happens, and then you go into then you blow up the little ones and you go and you make little sub arts of that, and that's kind of like the extent of what I do.
Okay.
These kind of very broad strokes.
Yeah. Yeah. I do a similar, milestone-y sort of like, okay, these are the beats I've got to hit and how we get there. Yeah. I'm not sure. In all of my interviews, I think most of the authors have answered that they're pantsers and then do some sort of mild, very light plotting
Uh, and
to get there.
I've started to get more into like I've started to do more of like story beats of like this happens and then this happens and then this happens, because with dictation it's kind of hard to do dictation without having like a couple of story beats, and it's just, I mean, it looks just like it's just like like a couple of sentences of like this happens and then that happens and then that happens and then that's what I want to talk about. um that's the only kind of like modification I've had so far to like my writing process. But hands on, I wish I could plot more. That would make my life way less stressful.
Yeah, I would agree. Every time I plot, though, then my brain's like, "Oh, you've written the story. It's fine. You don't need to focus on that." Just
Yeah.
destroys my ability to write it.
One of my most like well plotted or planned out scenes involved a snowboard, and that has not made it and is not making it into the book. And I have like that is completely plotted out this entire scene, like start to finish. It'd be a whole chapter involving I built like concept, like I sketched out designs of like a magical construct snowboard, and then I made up all of this justification and like came up with all of this stuff, and like I did that very very early on in the book like
Yeah.
process. That it's not happening. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Laurel says, so slightly more plotted than no plan, just vibes. And I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple chapters like that, and I just write them and then shove them in a bonus, like some sort of like folder that maybe I pull them back out. I had a whole fishing arc that I ended up using eventually, but not until like
Yeah.
65 chapters later.
I'm still holding it on the side. If a snowboard shows up, it may be a sandboard or a waterboard, or it may get adapted.
Waterboarding something else, though.
Well, and I don't really want to put waterboarding into my book because it would be brutal. Uh, I will say that one person that I've found a lot of help with is Matt Mercer's books on, or not books, but his like videos on how to be a dungeon master has been super helpful,
Mm-hmm.
because he kind of builds this whole concept of building templates of like, this is a character, this is a basic town, here are the unique aspects and unique qualities about it. So
Yeah.
and that's been, I don't know the exact, but he has a bunch of videos on just like that, and that's been super helpful. Is because like sometimes I'll like build something that I think is really cool, and then I'll just like, I won't describe it fully so that I can use it somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, I think I've got Keith Amen's books. Yeah, these guys. Like this, I don't know, here, let me put it from the series. This series is also like DM, like how to, he's got like 4 or 5 of them, and those have also been really valuable to me. It's Matt Amen. And it's like why certain monsters would behave, like how they would behave in different ways depending on their stats and stuff. It's really helpful way to just think through encounters. So yeah, definitely lean on, if you're in lit RPG, lean on dungeon master content because it is really helpful.
Yeah. Although I will say the one thing is, do not make it fair. There is no fairness in novels. Like at least that's my, like what I've heard some people say, and like I agree with, is that if you took some of the books that are in lit RPG and made a video game off them, it would suck. Like actually suck. Like the book I'm writing would absolute, like it would have 1 star on Steam. People would hate the shit out of it.
Yeah.
They're like, well, there's one person who's OP. This is bullshit.
Yeah. 1992 NES game with 2 lives. Yeah. Well, okay. A couple last questions here. You already talked about how there's a potential audio release this summer. Are you going to bring the book live on Amazon before then? Like, what's your plans for moving forward with your book?
So my plan is to have book 2 done and on Patreon when I release book 1 and the Audible. I'm going to release them side by side based off like recommendations and everything. And also I just the narrator I found, I kind of like I was like standing in line to get a drink, and he was talking behind me, and I like turned around and just went for like a couple of seconds, but I heard him talking, and I just heard my main character in his voice.
Yeah.
And I was just like stared at him awkwardly for a couple of seconds. I don't know if he remembered that, but I was just like, whoa. It was just like my whole mind was whirling. And so for me, like part of that is just like, I don't know if I would, doing the whole audio stuff would have been more of a chore, and I definitely probably would have done it, but I feel really good about the guy that I found, because I don't know, I can't get that out of my head that I heard Simon. Like I heard Simon in his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wait, that's him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you talk to him at Lit RPG Con, or did
I
you like contact him after?
I did talk to him at Lit RPG Con, and then
You turned around and were like, "You are Simon." He's like,
yeah.
"No, I'm
Well,
Bob."
after I got my drink, I was a little bit more tactful, and I was just kind of like, so you want to explain, like, at this time I had like 30 chapters on Royal Road. I'm like, hypothetically, if somebody had a book and they like wanted to publish like the Audible, how would you go about that process? And then like we kind of like talked through, he walked me through a bunch of kind of like the steps of like his process and how that works. And then I described how I see characters, and I was like very nervous about that because I don't really see faces or stuff. I see like just like glowing colors of like clouds of energy and weird shit. It's consistent, but it's weird. But he
Sounds of
took
instruments breaking.
yeah, and he actually took that and then like did some voices, and I was just like, oh, this is really cool. So I totally forgot what the question was.
Yeah, no, no. I was just asking if you tried to sign him as your narrator at Lit RPG Con or not.
I really like I was like, I want to, but I was also like, this dude, like before you came here, you were in a manic haze and like, wait, I could be a writer. And I was like, this is kind of a jump. And first off, the book wasn't anywhere close to being done.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
didn't even know if I was going to get to the end of it. I didn't even know if I was going to survive, the next 3 weeks. So
yeah. Yeah, that's also a big financial commitment to sign a
yeah, yeah,
narrator too. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
And then I actually like I kind of like delayed and like didn't really think about it, and like didn't really, I was just like, okay, I'll figure that out later. And then like now I'm getting close to the end of the book and I have an editor going through it, and it's like, oh, I want to release it right before next Lit RPG Con. And
hmm.
then I was talking to an author, and he was like, I was like, hey, what do you think like about audio, because you do self-publishing? And he was like, have you lined up your narrator? And I was like, no, should I be? And he's like, they are booked months in advance. And I was like, oh shit, I need to like reply to that email and be like, hey, we need to like talk shop like
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
So it's gonna work out the way I want it to. But like I swear, if I had waited one more month, like he would have been filled up. And I'm pretty sure he just got another really big thing.
yeah,
Um, and it's like, yeah.
yeah. I have this like dream someday of having like Andy Parsnow narrate a book for me, but I think her schedule's out to like 2028. And I was just thinking about like, man, I should probably like contact her now with the idea for 2028 if I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy what the schedules are. Yeah. All right. So some last questions. You have a day job, right? How do you balance that with a Royal Road schedule?
Uh, I
You said you're posting 3 chapters a week.
yes, I wake up at 2 a.m. and then I write until 6, and then I go to my day job, and then I do my day job, and then a lot of days I come home and I dictate on the way, and then I dictate on the way back, and then I transcribe when I get home, and then I've been doing that consistently for a while.
Yeah.
That you just have to put in the hours. I yeah, I'm actually going to be shifting what I do for work here. And I'm going to be shifting to something that's going to allow me to write more. And I'm going to be able to add like 20 more hours a week of writing. So I'm kind of going for broke on this to see how it pans out. And we'll see if that's a good idea or a bad idea, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Reach for the dream. I love it. Yeah. That is an insane schedule, though. 2 a.m. is not an hour of which you should be waking up to write. But you
There
do what
are,
you have to. Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. Like the thing is, it's like I tried doing after work, and it's like my brain is so fried from Tuesday bullshit that I had to deal with, and so like that creative spark isn't there. It's been quenched by monotonous programming all day, and then so I was just like, well, I have to fix this. And so I mean, shout out to dude, my spouse, my wife is amazing. She deals with my alarm going off at 2 for me to wake up. I'm using like a thing that vibrates now, and that's been helping. But like, she has been a saint in this whole thing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
RNI says they stay up until 2 a.m. to write, and that's kind of my schedule. I'm
Yeah.
I'm also the one that stays up late. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we going to see you in 2026? What cons are you going to? Sounds like Lit RPG Con is back
Lit
on
RPG
schedule.
Con. Yeah. I
Mhm.
will be at Lit RPG Con 100%. Got the tickets. I might apply to be like, hey, I can talk about how not to write on Royal Road.
Yeah. You should apply for that now because I think apps close here sometime soon.
January, but I totally should have. That's one of those things where it's like I want to do this, but also I've been procrastinating it.
Go
So
apply. Go
okay, I
apply.
will. I will. I will. It's weird. It's just this whole thing has moved way faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Do it. Okay. Is that are you Jordan Con, Dragon Con, anything else? No.
I just it's going to those is just the financial stuff of it, and since I'm doing self pub, I need like every dollar extra is something else that I can do,
Yeah.
and like I think that once I have like something to sell and like where I can kind of like keep building, like readers and it can add. I think those places will have more value for me in the future, but
Yeah.
not this 2026.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Definitely Lit RPG Con seems to be the most bang for your buck, just
Yeah.
getting out there. Laurel says apply now. We all want to hear what you have to say. So that's we're gonna bully you into applying.
Okay. All right. I will.
So I know you and I connect a lot on Discord, but where can readers find you online? It sounds like you've got a Patreon, Facebook. Where's the place?
Discord is the big one. I've got a Discord and it's on my Patreon and I link it on all my chapters now because, I've started to read like the business side books of this and they're like, you need to like build your community. And I was like, okay, I guess I will do that.
Yeah.
My Discord's the easiest place to find me. I watch it for when people reply or post things. I need to get on Facebook, but once again, it's like, I heard this really good rule of there's like 80, it's called the 80/20 rule. And there's like 20% of the things you do bring you 80% of the value. And there are 80% of things that you can do that bring you 20% value. And there are just some things for me like right now that are just like, I really should do them, but it's like, but that takes away from me finishing the damn book. Or, it takes away from me from talking to a cover artist or talking to, or
Hmm.
like working on another book or
Yeah. I think people underestimate just the amount of stuff there is to make a book.
yeah.
There's just so many business decisions, and it's all in addition to
And
just the writing.
even just posting chapters, it's like there's no streamlined way to post chapters. It's just something you have to do or something you have to pay somebody to do. And then even then it's like, who do you trust with the thing that you're trying to make into a livelihood or you're trying to make into something serious? It's like, it's like I think it takes me like at least 30-40 minutes or something every couple of days to just go through and post on. Okay, I was like, I got to remember post on Patreon first, and then go update my Royal Road, and then go look at my shout out codes, and then I have to go dig through these things, and all of those little things kind of like add time. And
Yeah.
but they're necessary. There's things you have to do to like, because especially with like self pub, that's what you just have to be the person that does all the things. So
Yeah, that does all the work. I agree. It's crazy too, because like Patreon and Rural Road have different pasting methods
yeah,
too. So you've got to split, like, all right, this is Patreon. I got to go back and put in my italics, and Rural Road's
yeah,
more
and
HTML, and yeah,
and I'm gonna start doing something. I'm playing with the idea, but I'm gonna start because like now my promise on Patreon, have more chapters than what is like. It's like 3+ chapters for this tier and 6+ for this tier, and I'm at 10+ for the 6+ tier, and 5+ for the 3+ tier. And now I'm going to add. It's like when you're doing this, you find other things that you could do that would like it's another like so I'm going to start posting a single chapter ahead on my Discord, and like just little things like that of like, hey, you're involving in my community and you're talking to me and listening to me. So here's
yeah,
an extra, here's 2 days ahead of X place, right? And then there's
Yeah.
like 7 other websites you could be posting on, like Space Battles is the one that's the craziest one to me, is that there's just some forum that you can launch as an author on.
Yeah. And it comes back to that 80-20 rule, right?
Yep.
Of like, where are you going to get the most bang for your buck and how does that work? And, you know, all the rest of it. It is wild. Well, yeah. What are you reading? What if you had one book to add to Pop Pop's TBR today? What would it be?
I'm telling you, sorry, 1 second. My battery's low on this, so we have to do this. He's got to read Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. If he hasn't done it, he needs to read it.
What was the book? I think I missed it.
Oh, Legendary Moonlight Sculptor. It's a classic. He's got to read it. It's great. And I know it's only in some weird, like, it's on Google Drives, and there's this whole really sad story about the rights to it that, like, I think the story is basically he was going to do an English translation. He sold the rights, or he gave the rights to this one company that then moved it to another company to do the English translation. And then that company went bankrupt. And so then everything went to auction, and then somebody bought up the rights. And then because he was a huge thing in South Korea, they've just been holding it. But then, like, you know, American people or American publishers are like, why would we pay for some random thing? So it's really sad, because it's like that book is, I think, the foundation of lit RPG as a whole.
Wow. Okay. What's the author name?
Oh boy. I'm going to hold on. I'm not going to even attempt to say his name.
Okay, yeah. If you can put it in the chat, maybe.
Lee Hoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
all right. We'll get that
the
in the
main
chat.
character. Well, sorry.
You're like, I want Pop to read this book that you can't find online, and I don't remember.
Yeah, I will post it in the chat. This is why I wasn't going to do this.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, any last bit of advice for an aspiring lit RPG author?
Start writing now. Yeah, that's it. And
good advice.
And there's no real shortcut, unfortunately, because if there was, every writer would be using it. And unfortunately, everyone has been trying to find the magic pill, and there really isn't. Read more, write more, write faster. It's unfortunately it's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's just that's just how you do it.
Yeah. I think that's a great note to leave on. So thanks everybody for joining us today. You heard Ben. To be a lit RPG author, you just got to write. That's the crux of it. Start writing. Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. Hopefully you don't have too much left of it, and we'll see you next week when Pop and I finish out the year and talk about our top books of 2025. He doesn't know we're doing that, but I just made the executive decision. So thanks everybody. Have a good rest of your night.
Bye everyone.
Yeah.
Damn it.